authority that does not belong to them. In other words, an Absalom spirit would try to push themselves in a position that they ain't ready for. Yeah, I know God called me to preach, but then yeah, you ain't ready to preach yet. You got to first learn how to be faithful. You got to learn how to be committed first, because God ain't trying to put you up here and make you hurt somebody. Come on here, you still cussing folks out. God ain't going to put you up here and tell you going to preach to somebody. And see, that position is, well, I know. Look at these suits. Look how they look at me. I look like a preacher. Everybody, people tell me I look like a preacher. Every time I go somewhere, they ask, are you a pastor? See, you falling into that facade and understanding that you know within yourself that you ain't ready. And see, and that's why God said that you got to pay attention to your own self, because dealing with this Absalom spirit, don't you know the enemy, if you open up the doors, the enemy going to do whatever he can to push you out. Go ahead. Go ahead and start your business. God told you he's going to get your business, but instead of you waiting on him to tell you when, you go ahead on and get the building. Or God tell you to be a pastor, you ain't wait for him to get the word, tell you to move. Yeah, you already found the building. You ain't even ordained nowhere. You just moving ahead of time. I'm going to get me some chairs. I'm going to get all this stuff. See, moving ahead of God and not wanting to submit to somebody, because ain't nobody going to tell me how to run my church. And that's why you see a lot of Absalom spirits, they'll start their own church because they've been on, got mad with the leadership. Yeah. They pastor, and they go say, well, you know what? They won't let me dance at my last church, so I'm going to dance at my church. They won't let me preach at their church. That's why I open up my own church. You can't open up a church just because you want to open up a church. Because see, what it is now you're stepping out on your own. And see, that's what this Absalom spirit would do. It would even cause a person to operate in deception of their own self. In other words, they will look at things through a tainted perception. They will look at things from a perspective as how they want it to be. Because here I got some characteristics. They seek an audience. It showed here in the scripture, Absalom even had a monument built. A statue of himself built. And God showed me that's what we do when we so at a place where we want things how we want it, when we want it. You're building a monument because you don't forget about who you belong to. You belong to him, not yourself. He ain't going to tell you to build no statue of yourself. Because who is that going to call you to do? They're going to worship yourself. Oh yeah, because I want to do this. I want to do that. This is what I'm going to do. See, because even here, look down at the, let's go back to 23. It said, and it came to pass after 2 full years, Absalom had sheep shears in Bazaar. So in other words, after Absalom, after he murdered his half brother, it says he waited 2 years. He waited 2 years before he murdered him. He had it in his heart. That's right. And so what he was doing was he was waiting for the right time so he can kill him. So, but look at how dangerous that is. He was holding bitterness, anger, murder in his heart. And that's what sometimes we do because we mad at folk. They done did something to you and you know you can't stand them. And you'll sit up there and look them in their face and say, you know I love you. You want to go to the movies? You know you can't stand me. And see, now understanding something is wrong with that. And see, the Holy Ghost should be telling you, you shouldn't want to go to the movies with her. Because your heart towards her is not right. Because see, if I know I can't stand Marcy, and I'm telling her let's go to the movies, trying to betray like me and her friends something that we're really not, what I'm now doing is I'm coming to alignment with agreement with the devil. Because I know as a believer, as a child of God, it's wrong for me to do that. Now how many people you know can't stand nobody and they'll go do it anyway? I ain't saying when folk somebody your enemy and you saying bless